जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा यमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, कलयुग पावन तारण हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू शिष्य गुरु एंड शिष्य गौरंगा। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। पुनः स्वागत है आप सभी भक्तों का इस साप्ताहिक शुक्रवार के साप्ताहिक कार्यक्रम में। भगवद गीता, लास्ट टाइम वी टुक 2.47। इधर आ जाइए प्रभु बीच में। 2.47 हमने लिया था एंड टुडे विल टेक 2.48 एंड हुआ तो 4.9 भी, 49 भी, इफ टाइम परमिट्स। सो कोई नए तो नहीं इस बार, तो चलो ठीक है। लास्ट टाइम वी हैड ऑलरेडी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड एवरीबॉडी, राइट? हरे कृष्णा। सो हम लोग शुरू करते हैं। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोकेर भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः, गोविंदाय नमो नमः, गोविंदाय नमो नमः। अध्याय 2 गीता का सारांश, चैप्टर 2 कंटेंट्स ऑफ गीता समराइज्ड, टेक्स्ट 48। सो रिपीट आफ्टर मी। 2.48 मिल गया ना? योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संघं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्धय-सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते। योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संघं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्धय-सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते।
योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि,
योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि
संगं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय,
संगं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय
सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा
सिद्धय-सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा
योग उच्यते।
समत्वं योग उच्यते।
योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि,
योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि
संगं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय,
संगं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय
सिद्ध्या-असिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा
सिद्धया-सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा
समत्वं योग उच्यते।
समत्वं योग उच्यते।
योगस्थ कर्माणि,
योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्धय-सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते। योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्धय-सिद्धयो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते। योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्धि-सिद्ध्यसमो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्य-सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्य-सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्धि-सिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते। हरे कृष्णा। वर्ड टू वर्ड मीनिंग। योगस्थ समभाव होकर, करो कुरु करो, कर्माणि अपने कर्म, संगम आसक्ति को, त्यक्त्वा त्याग कर, धनंजय हे अर्जुन, सिद्धि असिद्धयो सफलता तथा विफलता में समभाव भूत्वा होकर, समत्वम समता, योग योग उच्यते कहा जाता है। अनुवाद तात्पर्य ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद के द्वारा। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। मेरे पीछे दोहराइए। हे अर्जुन, हे अर्जुन, जय अथवा पराजय की समस्त आसक्ति त्याग कर समभाव से अपना कर्म करो, ऐसी समता योग कहलाती है। तात्पर्य पढ़िए।
तात्पर्य, कृष्ण अर्जुन से कहते हैं कि वह योग में स्थित होकर कर्म करे। और योग है क्या? योग का अर्थ है सदैव चंचल रहने वाली इंद्रियों को बस में रखते हुए परम तत्व के मन को एकाग्र करना। और परम तत्व कौन है? भगवान ही परम तत्व हैं। और चूंकि वे स्वयं अर्जुन को युद्ध करने के लिए कह रहे हैं, अतः अर्जुन को युद्ध के फल से कोई सरोकार नहीं है। जय या पराजय कृष्ण के लिए विचारणीय है। अर्जुन को तो बस श्री कृष्ण के निर्देशानुसार कर्म करना है। कृष्ण के निर्देश का पालन ही वास्तविक योग है, और इसका अभ्यास कृष्ण भावनामृत नामक विधि द्वारा किया जाता है। एकमात्र कृष्ण भावनामृत के माध्यम से ही स्वामित्व भाव का परित्याग किया जा सकता है। इसके लिए उसे कृष्ण का दास या उनके दासों का दास होना होता है। कृष्ण भावनामृत में कर्म करने की यही एक विधि है जिससे योग में स्थित होकर कर्म किया जा सकता है। अर्जुन क्षत्रिय है, अतः वह वर्णाश्रम धर्म का अनुयायी है। विष्णु पुराण में कहा गया है कि वर्णाश्रम धर्म का एकमात्र उद्देश्य विष्णु को प्रसन्न करना है। सांसारिक नियम यह है कि लोग पहले अपनी तुष्टि करते हैं, किंतु यहाँ तो अपने को तुष्ट ना करके कृष्ण को तुष्ट करना है। अतः कृष्ण को तुष्ट किए बिना कोई वर्णाश्रम धर्म का पालन कर भी नहीं सकता। यहाँ पर परोक्ष रूप से अर्जुन को कृष्ण द्वारा बताई गई विधि के अनुसार कर्म करने का आदेश है।
हरि ओम तत्सत्। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhamvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. हरे कृष्णा। तो हमारी ये चर्चा चल रही है निष्काम कर्म के ऊपर, और विशेषकर हमारी ये चर्चा चल रही है श्लोक क्रमांक 41 से 53 तक की, है ना? 41 से 53 तक की। सो वी आर ट्रैवलिंग ऑन द जर्नी फ्रॉम श्लोक 41 to 53, where one who is, like, before 41, what did Krishna say? If you are in Bahushaka, then it is very difficult for you to understand Bhagavad Gita. And you have to come into single pointed focus. You cannot have multi-branch focus. So how to come into that single point focus? This is the process which he laid down from 41 to 53. Okay. So we have covered almost up to 47, where we started off with Bahushaka Buddhi, describing various persons who have faith on Vedas, avipashita, kama, rata, all those things. And from there we came to, that you have to get above this Vedas level, come to that Nisthraigunya level. And once you come at Nisthraigunya level, then he said the last shlok, which was karmaṇi-vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan. Then you do your duty. So how to do your duty? He said, before that he said, do your duty. Come above three gunas, and then you do your duty. And how can you do your duty? He said, karmaṇi-vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadacana, ma karma phala-hetavaḥ mate saṅgosva karmāṇi. So we discussed last week on this. So we'll have a recap on this. What do you all remember from 47th shloka? That how you have to recognize your duty.
Krishna says that you have the right to perform the duty, whatever material modes of nature, and authorized by Shastra, but don't expect the result.
Yes, don't expect the result. So whatever you have to perform your duty, don't expect the results. And next?
Don't think you are the cause of
that was also. So first, perform your duty, don't expect results. Third was, don't think yourself as the cause of the result, action, fruit of the action. Don't ever think that you are the cause of the fruit of the action. And then?
believe in non-performance.
No. So you cannot sit idle also. You cannot do a karma that, cannot think that, if I don't have to get any result, then I'll sit idle. So there also he closes the point saying that you cannot sit idle. So it was a very technical shloka with all four sides being locked with each other. And that is how we discussed. So now I just want to get out some important points which we discussed. What all you have noted? Yeah, that is Nishkam Karma.
फल बंधन का कारण बनते हैं। और
हाँ, हमने फल के पहले भी कुछ और ड्यूटी ही के ऊपर ही हमने डिस्कस किया था, वही बहुत जरूरी है। हम लोग सब कार्य करते हैं अपना ड्यूटी समझ के, रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी समझ के, राइट्स एंड रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। सो हम लोग क्या समझ के करते हैं, हमने उसके ऊपर जिक्र किया था। मोस्टली सभी लोगों का ओपिनियन था वी डू इट एज अ रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू द फैमिली, राइट। हमको ऑफिस में जाने का राइट मिलता है तो हम रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के तौर पे नौकरी करते हैं। बट कृष्णा यहाँ पे एग्जैक्टली हैड गिवन द इनवर्स प्रोपोर्शन। He said you have a right to work. He did not say about responsibility. He said you have a right to work. So we have a right to work. Whatever body we have got, our body through this, whichever prani gets whichever kind of body. In fact, as a human beings, we are given into 4 types of bodies. And we said, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. There are 4 types of bodies. So based on that bodily conception, we are inclined or destined to do some kind of work, right? So he says, because you have been given to that body, particular body, you have a right to do the work in that particular body. So Arjuna was in a Kshatriya body. So he has a right to fight. He has a right to fight. So we inversely do it, like when for us, we have to go to work, actually, because when we are working for money, we are Shudras. So when we go to work, we say it's our responsibility to work because we have family here. So family is your responsibility, no doubt, but you have a right to work because the moment you have got this body, even a woman in this body, okay, she might not go to office, but she is serving the house. That itself is the work for her. That itself is the work for her. So, like, if a maid servant sweeps the house, she becomes a Shudra. And if the housewife sweeps the house, it is her duty. You know, she can be a Brahmana also, she can be a Kshatriya also, she can be anything, okay, in her Varnashram Dharma, but it becomes her duty. She will not ask money for it. She will do it selflessly because it is her own house. So the contribution or this thing comes to her, because I could not give this example last time. But a woman when sweeps the house, she will do it as her own contribution. It's her own house. We have to keep the house clean, right? She will not expect that I'll get money from my husband when I clean the house. But whereas a maid servant, when she comes, she will clean the house. She will take money, right? She will expect money. So Krishna exactly said that, that nishkam karma, exactly what a housewife does for the house. You do the work, but do not expect any result. Right? So sometimes we say office and don't expect salary. People get, of course, we gave that example only. But then, people have a lot of that. How can we not expect the fruit of action? You have to expect the fruit of action. But you have to get out of the above three modes. That's what. So when you come to the spiritual level, you can understand that, whatever I do would be a contribution within the system as a whole. The company is working. Even if I don't go, somebody else will go. The work will happen. So I have to contribute my portion to the whole system, and the rest will, if the fruit has to come, it will come. We again said, we cannot compare fruits of other persons with fruits of our own, So we discussed quite a few points on that.
Can I just check on?
Yeah, check.
Just to reconcile something. You said that you should go beyond the criteria, right?
Yes.
But we also use the word I was working passionately.
Yes.
With intensity. So there is also a flavoring of the work.
Yes.
Right. So, for example, is that not sort of tamasic thing that you are actually?
No, it's a rajasic thing. When you have passion toward one, it's a rajasic thing. Yeah.
Yes. No. So so there's also the quality of work, right? Work is, doing the number of hours. Forget the result, but you still have to do 8 hours of work.
Yeah.
You still have to do it with passion, and so how do you?
So do it as your duty.
Yeah, but it is do it as what? But I'm talking not about the quantity of work. No, I'm talking about the intensity and quality of work. So I just because do you not need that rajasic way, for example, to?
It has to be. It has to be. It has to be.
So that is it. So how do you evolve around? That is, I'm trying to understand.
So that's what, because when you do it, when you do it in a rajasic way, that is where the enthusiasm comes in.
Correct.
Okay, you work enthusiastically, and but that is where exactly when you work enthusiastically also, in the end of it, what is your motive? That's what I said, no motivation level, because motivation was not right word. Probably we and Sunil Prabhu also discussed a lot later on. So he was saying what is the motivation? Because that is where exactly English word is. What is the motivation for you to do it very devotedly?
No, I'm not talking about motivation. Motivation is okay. There's a result, whatever we talk about. But I'm talking about how am I doing the work? Just forget I'm doing it with, like you said,
that you have to do it, as good as. So when you do it for Krishna, you want to do it as beautiful as you want. You just don't want to do it, okay, मेरे घर में पूजा है बल्कि मुझे जाके ऐसी पूजा करनी नहीं. But you do it very wholeheartedly that, I have to perform this puja very nicely, or this particular, vrata very nicely, so that, at least I get the blessings of Krishna. You don't expect anything else, but at least blessings of Krishna. So that way, wholeheartedly, you will have to anyway work, because it's your duty. You have to work wholeheartedly. Putting all your passions or all your
But you still have to do it with sattvic, right?
Yes, yes.
So there is
No, no.
that guna
So-
still coming.
Yeah, no. See, no. The question is, see, that's what guna will automatically come, because our body is destined to work in this guna. But that is where exactly we took the examples of animals. Animals cannot decide much more than that. A cow will eat only grass. Cat will eat only mass or whatever. So tiger will eat only the flesh. So they will not change that, because that is what has been destined for them, and they have to do that. Whether they do it passionately or anythingly, they have to do only that. Beyond that, they cannot. But human beings are given that motivation level. They have their mind which is all fully developed, and they have their the intelligence which is fully developed, and based on that they can discriminate. So at that level, when you work as a system as a whole, not that you are contributing to yourself. So you are contributing to the system, and in that contribution to the system, I have to do my best and leave the results on Krishna to decide.
दो चीजें
हाँ।
इसमें भी ना उर्दू में लिखा हुआ है तुम्हें अपने मुकर्रर फराइज का अंजाम देने हक है, लेकिन नतीजे का कोई इख्तियार नहीं है,
हाँ।
अधिकार नहीं। मतलब रिजल्ट आपको मिलेगा, रिजल्ट
हाँ।
आप एक्सपेक्ट करोगे।
डोंट एक्सपेक्ट बोल रहे हैं ना, इख्तियार नहीं का क्या मतलब है? हाँ,
उसका इख्तियार मींस उसकी अथॉरिटी नहीं है आपके पास।
हाँ, you have a right to work, you have no right to results. Yes, इसीलिए you have no right to results. What the result will come is not in our hands. So you have no right to result. You have only right to work. And that is where we took 2.5 का भी example लिए थे ना, कि when Arjuna said कि मेरे family members will get killed, and then Krishna, that's what wanted to say, that you have no right to think about the result. आपको राइट नहीं है रिजल्ट के बारे में सोचने का।
रिजल्ट क्या आएगा इसका इख्तियार नहीं है, पर सोचने का इख्तियार है। मेरा ज्ञान ये है, इख्तियार का मतलब ये कि आपको रिजल्ट क्या
हिंदी में क्या दिया उसका मीनिंग?
आएगा वो तब को सोचने इख्तियार है। क्या आएगा एक्चुअली होगा ऐसा तुझे इख्तियार नहीं है। मतलब मैं सोच रहा हूँ मैं पास होऊंगा फेल होऊंगा, ये इख्तियार है मुझे सोचने का, पर मैं पास होऊंगा ही,
हाँ, तो
ये इख्तियार नहीं मुझे।
तो उसका मतलब क्या हुआ?
सोचने का अधिकार है मेरे पास ना, सोचने का अधिकार है, पास करने का अधिकार नहीं मुझे। यानी मुझे एग्जाम देने का अधिकार है, पास साइन करके खुद 100 में से 100 मार्क्स देने का अधिकार नहीं है, वो टीचर का अधिकार है।
हाँ, टीचर का अधिकार है। ये हम भी वही बोल रहे थे ना, कि पूरे अधिकार हमारे पास नहीं है, 5 लोग हैं अधिकार वाले, है ना। लास्ट टाइम वो भी श्लोक डिस्कस किया। तो इसमें क्या लिखा है? तुम्हारा माँ फलेशु कदाचन कदापि नहीं, कभी नहीं। तो आपको फल की मीन्स कर्म करने का अधिकार है, परंतु फल का अधिकार नहीं।
फल का अधिकार है,
हाँ।
फल के सोचने का अधिकार है।
सोचना एक अलग चीज है, माइंड सोचने का, इच्छाएं तो है सब कुछ। इच्छा तो
3 सब क्लासेस था।
हाँ।
नित्य कर्म मतलब डेली,
हाँ, वो हमने वो भी करके थे।
इच्छित कर्म,
इच्छित क्या?
तो इच्छित कर्म मतलब हम जो फल के बारे में सोच रहे, जो इच्छा कर रहे वो है।
तो एक तो प्रिस्क्राइब, हमने बोले थे कि प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज दैट यू हैव टू एनीवे परफॉर्म बेस्ड ऑन द बॉडीली एक्शन ऑफ लाइफ, एंड सेकंड वाज emergency duties which you have to perform when emergency comes in, like somebody fell in the bathroom, you have to take them to the hospital. So those comes as an emergency works. And one is ichha, I have my wish to become this, I will become or not, that is a different, that is what adhikar ikhtiyar aap jo bol rahe na. But I have wish, so you can do that also. I have wish to become a CEO of the company, you can wish, but you will become or not, we don't know. ठीक है, हाँ, वही था। 3 प्रकार के कर्म थे, बराबर। ये भी पॉइंट डिस्कस किया। और क्या डिस्कस किया? व्हाट एल्स वी डिस्कस? हाँ, अकर्म एंड विकर्म। सो विकर्म वी कैन नॉट परफॉर्म। एनी पर्सन थिंकिंग दैट I can steal is my right, because a thief can think stealing is my right. No, that is not his right, because it is a vikarma, he cannot perform. And akarma is meaning of, one meaning is, 2 meanings akarma we discussed, right? One meaning is not to work, okay, and second meaning is not to work for our senses, which means work for Krishna. Instead of satisfying your senses, if you satisfy the senses of Krishna, it is as good as akarma. You are not performing for yourself. We took the example of Prabhupada also, right? Or today also we'll be taking, I think so. आएगा, आज भी आएगा, ठीक है। प्रभुपाद का एक रोल्स रॉय यूज करते हैं, तब बोला कि तुम सन्यासी हो, व्हाई आर यू यूजिंग रोल्स रॉय? He said, I am not using for my purpose, I am doing for Krishna's purpose, I am going for preaching. Bhakt has brought it, so why should I not use it? वो आज के श्लोक में आएगा, it will come today. हाँ? So that's what we were discussing. What else? Anything important point we had?
Once you surrender,
Hmm.
you have to obey you don't have
Yeah,
right.
you don't
have
have
to
right.
obey
Because we took the example of 2.7 also, stating that, you have already surrendered to Krishna, so your master is Krishna. So in front of the boss, in front of the guru, you have only right to obey his whatever order he gives. He has to obey, and he has already given the order in 2.18 that get up and fight. And then we discussed about the Ma Phaleshu Kadachana, where we discussed don't think that it's only you have a right to result, because it's not possible that you yourself can get the result. There are 5 persons which works upon it to get any kind of work to happen, and we discussed that 18.14 and 15, 5 and 6, 18.56, 18.56,
Place of action, performer.
18.14, sorry, 18.14. तो क्या था प्लेस ऑफ एक्शन? सेंसस एंड परफॉर्मर, endeavors, ultimately sanction of super soul. Because उसमें दैवम च एव मात्र पंचमम, दैवम च एव मात्र, only, ultimately the super soul, ultimately, है ना, दैवम च ऐव मात्र पंचमम, ऐसा वर्ड दिया गया है. तो अधिष्ठानम, that is the place, karta, that is the doer, the soul, karanam, that is our senses, because soul cannot work without the body, and body acts through the senses, and vivid cheshtai means all types of endeavors. You may reach to the even Supreme Lord by doing karma yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, whatever all we read, through all those processes you can reach to the Lord. It will take time, okay, but then that is why best is bhakti yoga, they say. So different methods to perform that work, and ultimately whatever you decide, दैवम च एव मात्र पंचमम, दैवम का सैंक्शन होना जरूरी है. हाँ, दैवम ही लिखा है, दैवम लिखा है, पढ़ो.
देवम प्रारब्ध फिर कहाँ गया?
प्रारब्ध आज के में आएगा, डोंट वरी.
नहीं,
आज के इसमें आएगा,
तो प्रारब्ध तो आया नहीं.
आज के इसमें आएगा. ये कार्य होने के लिए 5 चीजें जरूरी है, ऐसा बात है. वो प्रारब्ध तो कार्य बन के सामने आएंगे अभी. 5 चीजें के लिए है, 5 चीजें होने के लिए 5 ये चीजें, कोई भी कार्य, एनी एक्शन टू हैपन, these 5 things are necessary. And that's what we took the example of a student going to school, writing his best exam, but he may fail also, right? It's not in sometimes we took examiner had fight at home, or many things can happen. चाय गिर गया उसके पेपर पे, anything could happen. So we took quite a few examples in that also, right? And we took the example, स्टूडेंट का एक और, फिर माते संगो स्वकर्मी, डू योर अकर्मा. इंस्टेड ऑफ डूइंग इट फॉर योर सेल्फ, डू इट एज ए कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन, डू इट एज ए we took 3-4 words, right? We took it as a contribution, we took it as our share of work, without thinking that we win or lose. What will happen at least in that? We will grow with wisdom. That's what exactly, when student unnecessary waste his time in various model papers, thinking that this question will come, that question will come, that question will come, and unnecessary gets bothered at the mind level, and then he'll not be able to perform, because there is always a weight kept on his mind. Oh, I read that 2018 model paper, it came from 2022, and all those things. Instead, if he read the subject thoroughly, and if he answers, whatever be the result, at least he will grow in wisdom, that I have answered it, what I have understood. So, do it in the form of akarma. Okay, so today, going forward there, so you have a right to do your duty, but do not expect the results. You have to, and don't think yourself as the cause of that result, as the only cause of that result, and you cannot sit idle also, thinking that oh, I am not get the result, मेरे को तनख्वाह मिलनी है, मैं तो ऑफिस जाऊंगा नहीं, घर पे बैठा रहूंगा. So it will not be possible. You have to work. We'll come to 2.48 now. yoga-sthaḥ kuru karmāṇi saṅgaṁ tyaktvā dhanañ-jaya siddhy-asiddhyoḥ samo bhūtvā samatvaṁ yoga ucyate. So today also Krishna is defining the process of yoga. Till now, okay, we defined yoga once. We understood what yoga is, but we did not define. So today, the first definition of yoga Krishna is giving in 2.48. What is it? Samatvaṁ yoga ucyate. Samatvaṁ is the definition for today's shloka. Samatvaṁ is the definition for yoga, and going forward, 2 more definitions will come for yoga. And that is in 2.50, where Krishna will say, yoga karmasu kaushalam, kaushal, your art and ability of doing the work. So that is the second definition of yoga. And third, it will come in the samadhi stage, 2.53, I think. Yeah. So we'll read about them, but today we'll discuss upon this. Yoga-sthaḥ kuru karmāṇi. Yoga-sthaḥ means be situated in yoga. Kuru karmāṇi means Karmāṇi means do your karma, doing work. Kuru means do. Situated in yoga, do your work. Okay. There it said you have a right to do work. Today Krishna is saying, situated in yoga means in connection to yoga, you have to do your work. Okay. Saṅgaṁ tyaktvā dhanañ-jaya. Means give up all attachments. Saṅgaṁ tyaktvā means give up all your attachments of that work. With no attachment, he said, Dhanañ-jaya. Dhanañ-jaya is one of the name of Arjun. We'll understand again. Of course, we have already understood that. What is the meaning of Dhanañ-jaya? But Dhanañ-jaya, why did he use Dhanañ-jaya today? That's also important. Okay. Then he did not stop there, and he's going forward and saying, siddhy-asiddhyoḥ samo bhūtvā. Be equipoised. Be equipoised in success and failure, or distress and happiness, or success or failure. So be equipoised. Samatvaṁ, that is the word which is in Sanskrit used, samatvaṁ. Samatvaṁ yoga ucyate. So such equanimity is called yoga. So be situated in yoga and do your work. So interestingly, the word yoga, which was defined which had come in 2.39, what did buddhi-yogād tvimam shrinu? That is the first time where yoga had come, and we discussed also how many times the yoga will appear, how many times the associated word, that is, the yukta will come, and all those, right? So that was the time when we defined what is etymology, means what by normal meaning of yoga, etymologically we say, and what is the actual meaning of yoga. So yoke, we took the example of yoke also, that the hook which comes in. So Krishna is using that same word yoga, and he's saying using your buddhi, do the work, so be situated in yoga and do the work means using your buddhi, do the work, which of course we defined at that time, giving all examples, we defined when you use your buddhi and do the work, that itself is bhakti yoga, right? Because when you ultimately use your buddhi and you will come to know who are you and ultimately whom you have to serve, that is where exactly bhakti yoga pitches in. And that is what is, okay, people will say it is karma yoga also. Don't worry about it, even karma yoga also. But again, ultimately, when you perform karma yoga for Krishna, it ultimately ends up into bhakti yoga only. So, the same word, he is the same thing. Apply your buddhi and do your work, but he is adding a word called samatvaṁ yoga ucyate. That is, do it with equanimity. So what? Do it with equanimity. समत्व बोलते सबको सम प्रकार से देखते हुए आपको अपना बुद्धि लगाते हुए कर्म करना है. तो अब इक्वानिमिटी, हाउ डू वी अंडरस्टैंड? Before equanimity, this karma situated in yoga, how do we understand? First thing, of course we have understood, but we'll just recap. So yoga-sthaḥ kuru karmāṇi, what it means, last sloka, what did we understand? When we do it in the Krishnarpana Mastu, then we will be doing the work as a contribution, right? Krishna had given the family, we are doing it for the family, okay, working for the family, and it is our right first to work, and then it's our right to even to do the job and get the money and feed bread at the table, which becomes our responsibility. So when we do Krishnarpana Mastu, of all the prescribed duties. We cannot do vikarmas, right? We said already. So we can do all the karmas when we keep Krishna in the center and do the work, or when we do the authorized duties, is the desire for which we do becomes Krishna's desire. Because when we keep Krishna in the center, we want to eat the food, right? We are hungry, but somehow or the other, our sanskara, it becomes such that, we keep Krishna in the center. So we don't prepare food for us, we prepare food for Krishna, keep it, offer it as a bhoga to Krishna, and then have his prasad. Doing the same activity, but just doubtfulling. We took the example of interest also, right? What people here don't call it as interest, they call it as profit. And why do they call it as profit? They want to share it to, they think that, this all money belongs to Allah and it is his share. And that is how it is his profit. And of course, if the bank is earning some profit, they share something as 2.5% as zakat. So the moment you put it as a contribution, whole your mind jugglery, there's that of becoming too much, for our senses goes off. So it becomes senses of the Lord. The responsibility shifts to the senses. So when we do this akarma, automatically we become free from bondage. Because we are not doing for ourselves. So when we're doing it for Krishna, so we become akarmani for us. So we are free from the bondage. And that's why Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. So चाहते तो आती रहेगी. Our means like एक wish खत्म नहीं होते. It is mind का यही काम है, दिन भर wish करते रहना और उसको पूरी करने के लिए हम जद्दोजहद करते रहना. So ever disturbing senses, because of that, more and more choices, you are every time disturbed. Oh, मैं ये भी लूँ, मैं वो भी लूँ, मैं ये भी लूँ. So your senses are automatically disturbed. And if you are fulfilling all those senses requirement, then you automatically fall into the trap of bondage, because ये तुम्हारे अपने senses के लिए कर रहे हो. But then when you concentrate on the Supreme, automatically that this is not for me, it is for Krishna, automatically that bhava of you becoming the owner, you becoming the first person to enjoy gets diluted. So that is where he says, if we work as per our desire, we get karma bandhana, but if we work as per the desire for Krishna, then we are out of karma bandhana. That is one thing. Or second thing is yukta vairagya. You do all the work, but keep always Krishna in the center. You don't have to take fully vairagya. Akarmani का मतलब ये नहीं है कि वैराग्य लेना है. Vairagya means I don't want to do this, I don't want to work. No. You do it as yukta vairagya. Whatever you work, you have right to work, right? So you go, you use that right, work, you will get the fruit of the result also. Relinquish that fruit of result. That becomes yukta vairagya. Like some Prabhupada's example, like Prabhupada, the sannyasi, as I was telling you, he used the Rolls-Royce car. People questioned him, why are you using this? He says, it's not for me. I don't want to use it for my traveling here and there and all those. Okay, Bhakta has brought it and we have to reach there on time. If I go on walk, maybe I'll reach late, or maybe, I may not be able to reach on time particular. So I'm using it for the purpose of Krishna. So there's no wrong in it. I'm satisfying Krishna's thing, because I have to reach there and give preaching on Krishna. I'm not using that Rolls-Royce for my own purpose. So here also, like car, we use it. Oh, it's my car, and in a slightest scratch, we get, oh, the wow factor comes into, oh, थोड़ा सा स्क्रैच हो गया. It is Krishna's car हो तो आपको आना चाहिए, आपका है तो आना भी नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि आप तो कुछ कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते उसको. You cannot do anything, right? Even if you're parked and somebody would scratch it. So इसीलिए वो श्लोक आता है ना भक्ति शास्त्री का, अनासक्त विषयाम यथारहम उपयुंजते निर्बंध कृष्ण संबंधे युक्तम वैराग्यम उच्यते. You have to just enjoy. I mean, it's like, you cannot say no to anything. And even Krishna doesn't say, just keep quiet. He says, you have to do work. He said last time, don't keep quiet. You have to work. You can work with yukti to Krishna. And I mean, deploy those senses in the service of Krishna. And today we'll understand again. If you cannot, Krishna has ordered Arjuna to fight, but he says, I do not want to fight. So at least he'll say, okay, you put all your paraphernalia, you have a right to fight. Use all this paraphernalia in the fight. And don't think about the result. So, in that way, he means, motivates still more Arjuna. Saṅgaṁ tyaktvā dhanañ-jaya. Give up the attachment, he says, Arjuna. Give up the attachment. Situated in yoga and give up the attachment. And again, he elaborates where that, siddhy-asiddhyoḥ bhūtvā. Whether you get victory or defeat, give up attachment and do yoga with equanimity. So, dhanañ-jaya. Dhanañ-jaya uses the word for Arjuna. Why did he use dhanañ-jaya? Dhanañ-jaya is the meaning what we understood before. Huh? No. Dhanañ-jaya is not for Dhanush. Dhan-arjaya. So, when they made Khandav-prastha as Indraprastha, Yudhishthir Maharaj performed a Rajasuya Yagya. Lot of money was required. So Arjun and everybody went and, collected earth from various kings and came, Whoever wants to fight, they fought with them, or who doesn't want to fight just surrendered. Okay. They became the allies, and ultimately Rajasuya Yagya was performed. Okay. As a contribution of all. So he was the person who contributed maximum to that dhana. That is the name. His name became dhanañ-jaya.
Oh, Arjun.
Arjun, yeah.
No, brother.
For his own brother, yeah. For themselves, yeah. But Rajasuya Yagya, the first person to be क्या बोलते पैर अग्र पूजा. The first person to be worshipped was who? Krishna. Right. So then everything that artha was offered to Krishna indirectly. So that is what it becomes a karma. So dhanañ-jaya, when he had so Krishna wanted to say here that, you have already surrendered. Last time we said that. I am your spiritual master. Okay. You have to do what I have to do. Say, that is your biggest dhana. गुरु की आज्ञा का पालन करना हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा धन है. कुछ भी हो जाओ, गुरु ने कह दिया ये करना है तो हमें करना है. Ways and means ढूंढ के उसको करना है. Okay, so I have already said I am the biggest treasure for you, and I am saying you already have said in 2.18 that please fight. So that is the thing. Oh Dhanañ-jaya. So you fight with equanimity. So धनंजय के ऊपर एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. लाइक एक वन ऑफ द ब्राह्मणा था. ही वाज वर्शिपर ऑफ लॉर्ड शिवा. लॉर्ड शिवा बहुत प्रसन्न होने के बाद में उसको वरदान दिए. मीन्स प्रसन्न होके सामने आए तो बोले कि मैं बहुत निर्धन हूँ, मेरे लिए कुछ धन का व्यवस्था करो. तो बोले धन की व्यवस्था चाहिए. तो बोले सनातन गोस्वामी वहां बैठे, बोले उनके पास चले जाओ, उनके पास बहुत सारा धन है, वो तुमको दे देंगे. सो सनातन गोस्वामी के पास गए. वो सनातन गोस्वामी को बोला कि शिवजी ने भेजा है, आपके पास बहुत धन है. तो बोले हाँ. बोले वो कूड़ेदान में पड़ा है, बोले ले जा. मीन्स लाइक इन द डस्टबिन देयर वाज अ touchstone. Touchstone, right? It existed in India before. If you पारा बोलते हैं उसको शायद हिंदी में. पारा बोलते, पारसमणि बोलते touchstone. So जहाँ पे लोहे को टच करने से it becomes gold. That was the power of that parasmani. So कचरे में पड़ा था. So he took that parasmani, he understood it's a parasmani and I can become rich. He took that and he went far. Means like he started going. He thanked Sanatan Goswami and he started going. And then he realized this is the parasmani and Sanatan Goswami had thrown it in a dustbin thinking that it is a dust. That means he must be having much more valuable apart from this parasmani. He came back. And what did he say? Why did you throw this in the dustbin? I want to understand. That means I presume that you have something more greater than this. Sanatan Goswami says, you really want that dhan? He said, yes, I want that dhan only, which is the greatest treasure. He says, okay, then throw this touchstone into the Yamuna and come back. Okay, so you throw it into Yamuna and come back. He throws into Yamuna and come back. And that is when Sanatan Goswami, he comes and he says, you have to surrender unto me. And that is how, then he gives him this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He says, this is the biggest treasure. Now just keep chanting. And this way he got the biggest treasure in his life, which is, the benediction, which Shiva also directed him to Sanatan Goswami for that reason only. That, this material wealth, whatever you take, that will get exhausted one day. Either it will get looted away or it will get, lost. Best is the spiritual wealth, where in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when Sanatan Goswami gave him, he was very happy. So, siddhy-asiddhyoḥ. Siddhy-asiddhyoḥ means victory or defeat, be equipoised. So how, like, a salesman will be a right example, or a bank cashier will be a right example?
Man, cricket.
Anything.
Cashier is the right example.
Cashier is the right example, but then even salesman, if he doesn't have commission, a salesman works whole day selling goods. Okay, that's a different. If he is working only on commission, it's a different. But if he gets a salary, may not be commission, full fixed salary. He will not think that, he will still try to sell whatever best possible thing, because, that is where exactly he has to do it with passion. Anyway, because salary will come at the end of him. Okay, if he does it very nicely, if the owner is really very happy, he may give something more. That's a different issue. But he cannot expect something and then do his duty. Cashier counts cash at the bank, not thinking that it is his own cash, thinking that it is cash of everybody. I am just counting. So he doesn't have any attachment to that. So without any attachment, he does his work. In history, we'll come across Jatayu, because when Prabhu was reading Ramayana, I just remembered. So Jatayu, he was a bird, right? And when Sita was being taken away by Ravana, he tried to stop. He was not capable, but still he tried his level best to stop. In the process, he lost his wings and he fell down, and later on, when Rama came, he already left his life also. If you ask, then he was a loser. But did Rama see anything that he was a loser? No, he in fact cremated him as his own elderly person. Because he had that equanimity. He did not see the losing trend. He just saw the efforts, what he made to save Sita. So if the boss is so applying his buddhi, then he will definitely see the efforts being put in by the employee, and he will reward accordingly. So that amazing lesson Ramayana gives us. Samatvaṁ, how it can be. So selfless service, and that is how it comes in. He did not have to lose his life. He was already old Jatayu. But still, somebody is carrying away a woman and, against her wish, and she already in the aeroplane, so he could fly, so he could try. He tried his level best to save. So, samatvaṁ yoga ucyate. So, interestingly, Krishna is referring yoga more in terms of its associated disposition towards material things than in connection with spiritual things. He says we generally talk about yoga in terms of spiritual connection. And we understood yoga from this, as I said, from the technical point of view, etymologically, and also philosophical point of view, understood what was yoga in 2.30 when it would come for the first time. So connection there means connect with some ultimate spiritual reality. That time we did not say Krishna, right? I remember telling you that, ultimate spiritual reality. We call it as Brahma, Paramatma, or Bhagavan, whatever you call it as. So now if yoga is essentially to connect with that spiritual reality, then why Krishna is saying equanimity is yoga? Because we took connection, like, yoke, if not connected, then the agriculture will not happen, and all those we understood by taking those examples before. So now Krishna is using equanimity as yoga. Equanimity generally is used for material things, right?
I think it's a state of mind. I don't think.
Exactly. That is why mind had come in picture. So equanimity generally is used for material things, and it enables our consciousness to perceive and pursue things, whether they're spiritually or materially. Perceive and pursue. So when you perceive and pursue material things, and how this will happen? What is the meaning of perceive? Pursue is what and perceive is what? Pursue का मतलब क्या होता है? Yeah, means to आगे बढ़ने के लिए we have to follow something. Yeah, and perceive is to seek or अनुभव, right? In Hindi it is अनुभव, right? Perceive is अपना अनुभव बोलते हैं ना प्रभु? Perceive. Perception, yeah, अनुभव या फिर जो है so see something, right? So equanimity towards material things enable our consciousness to perceive and pursue higher spiritual things. And then only we can become connected to those things. Unless we perceive and pursue, probably we may not. If you have to connect yourself to Krishna, unless you form a vision, oh Krishna, that Murlidhar who is standing with, some kind of vision comes in your mind, okay? And that is how you connect to him. Na? But if you are too fascinated about material things, say if I get this, I'll be happy. If I don't get this, probably it would be a tragic for me. It will be a tragic. I did work so much. So in this way, if you are caught up in the material things, either the hope that they will give pleasure, or the fear of losing them, the pain, that is what is called as siddhy-asiddhyoḥ. Pleasure is siddhyo and pain is asiddhyo. Then our consciousness will just get caught into that matter. And we will never be able to perceive the spiritual thing. We'll never be able to perceive the spiritual thing. Leave alone pursuing it. Okay, छोड़ दो वो तो आगे बढ़ना तो छोड़ दो हम उसके लिए वो धारणा भी नहीं कर सकते हमारे माइंड में. So pursue means to see and perceive means to seek. I wrote it for आप लोगों के लिए. Sometimes I may also not know. And that is why yoga, in order to be properly perceived, needs some level of material equanimity. Needs some level of material equanimity. And this material equanimity does not mean that, material negligence or our irresponsibility towards anything. We have to do it very cautiously. Equanimity, it just means that one doesn't take material things too seriously. Because they are temporary and ultimately they will not be permanent. Very, very big things can happen at material level, but we have to understand that they are all temporary. They are going to perish at the end. Example I'll give you. कभी-कभी philosophy जल्दी से समझ में नहीं आती है. एग्जाम्पल देते हैं. बच्चा खेल रहा है, उसके लिए कैरम खेल रहा है, उसको तो कैरम ही जिंदगी है, राइट? इफ आई विन इट इज हिज लाइफ. और क्रिकेट, एनीथिंग यू कैन टेक. ओके एंड व्हेन ही विन्स ही इज सो हैप्पी. ओके एंड व्हेन ही लूजेस समटाइम्स ही इज वेरी डिजेक्टेड. मैं हार गया. कभी कभी उसका पप्पा भी उसके साथ खेल रहा होता है. ओके पप्पा भी खेल रहा होता है कि खेलो खेलो. And he wins. Father also want to win, but then no, he'll try to give his son a chance that let him win, and he will just beat forward, and then तू जीत गया मैं हार गया. What is the perceive and perception between these two? For the child, it is like siddhy-asiddhyoḥ. I have to win. So for him equanimity is that thing. But for the father who is at a higher level of matured level, this win and game will happen in this game anyway. Even if I lose, I know it is nothing I have lost. Is that right? So, ठीक है?
फादर विन और लॉस दोनों है ना. फादर हार के भी जीत गया.
वही तो उसको वो समझ है कि भाई मेरे को ये जीत से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है.
जीतने वाले को बाजीगर
कहते. So what will happen? So he knows that because of his maturity. So equanimity in material things, in sense of not getting too excited or agitated by their gain or loss, enables our consciousness to perceive and pursue the spirit. And thus we can practice yoga. ऐसे सिलसिले में only we can practice equanimity in yoga. ठीक है? When we say grow it at a higher level. So grow it at high. Who is growing at a higher level? It is ultimately the consciousness. So on this bodily level, again, Krishna will talk also in 6th chapter, like, in 17th shloka, he will say, Yukta ahara viharascha. 6.17 it is. Like, you have to have, means not a good sleep, you have to have ample food, ample sleep, optimum food, optimum sleep, optimum efforts. Everything should be there, and that also is yoga. So that is again, so he will bring you so that, yogo bhavati dukkha, he'll say, otherwise if you don't do, then you will always be in dukkha. Naturally, overeating will indulge in other things and so many things. So by the practice of yoga, one rises up to spiritual level, and that spiritual level becomes free from misery at that spiritual level. तो मैं हारा या जीता, मैं जीत सकता था, मैं हारा एज ए बड़ा, मुझे कोई मिसरी या मैं हूँ फ्री हूँ मिसरी से, क्योंकि ये खेल था, ये मटेरियल लेवल पे खेल जीत चालू रहता है, परंतु स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे पता है मैं विजडम पे ग्रो हुआ हूं, बच्चा अभी छोटा है, उसका विजडम अभी इतना ग्रो नहीं हुआ है, एंड ही विल हैव टू कोप अप. ओके, तो दैट इज हाउ ही विल लर्न ओवर अ पीरियड, एंड दैट इज वेयर द मैच्योरिटी कम्स इन. perceive and perception through minds and all those comes in, and that's why we were talking about mind के शुरुआत में, जब maturity levels of minds are different for everybody. So Krishna is here hinting that Arjuna, that whether whatever happens in the battlefield, whether you know that you are acting for your spiritual growth and keep pursuing your spiritual growth no matter what happens, so you will not be entangled. तुमको पाप नहीं लगेगा. You will not carry any kind of power. So be equipoised in this situation also. War, you cannot be equipoised, but he says you have to be equipoised in this situation also and practice your yoga. So whatever happens, whoever get killed, your relative, okay, do it as a part of your duty. Do it as a part of your duty. Just follow what your guru says. कुछ डाउट है?
अर्जुन के केस का तो इजी लगता है थोड़ा, तो जंग कर रहा है, जंग में हाथ
सेम हमारे से में भी है प्रभु, हमारे से प्लेस के हम लोगों को एनालाइज करना है हमारे अपने आप को. दैट इज ये दैट इज व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस है प्रभु. आखिरी तक आते आते आपको यही समझना होगा दैट हमको ये चीज प्रोसेस में उठना पड़ेगा. ये प्रोसेस का ही स्टेप है.
मतलब डेली लाइफ हम कैसे गुजारें, है ना? ठीक है, ये तो क्वेश्चन में अर्जुन के लिए कहा समझ. अब हम अर्जुन है तो हमें कैसे गुजारनी चाहिए?
हमें देखो डेली लाइफ में, हम तो अभी नौकरी कर रहे हैं, तो हमें अपना जी जान लगा के नौकरी तो करना ही है, परिवार की सेवा करनी है, और फ्रूट से हमको आश्रित नहीं रहना है. फ्रूट्स को सारे परिवार कृष्णा ने दिया है, कृष्णा ने ये सारी जिंदगी दी है, तो हम कार भी लेते हैं तो कृष्णा के लिए ले रहे हैं, हम खाना भी खा रहे हैं तो कृष्णा के लिए प्रसाद बना के फिर खा रहे हैं. सब कुछ अपनी जिंदगी उस हिसाब से कृष्णा के कार्य में करते हुए करनी चाहिए. ऐसा कोई कार्य है जो शास्त्र से में वर्जित है, वो कार्य हमें नहीं करना चाहिए. आगे आएगा, अभी नेक्स्ट का श्लोक वही है, वो भी लेने का इसलिए सोचा मैं, क्योंकि ये कनेक्टेड हो जाता है.
जो भी हम चीज ले रहे हैं अपनी सुविधा के ले रहे हैं, नाम हम कृष्ण का लगा रहे हैं, चलो बात है, लेकिन
इसीलिए तो युक्त वैराग्य, ये कॉन्शियसनेस में फर्क आएगा कब प्रभु? व्हेन यू डू इट एज ए कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन. यही तो बात है ना. आप चाहे वो भी करके करो, लेकिन वो करते करते आपको ऑटोमेटिकली एक दिन भाव जागृत होगा. यही भक्ति योग का वजन है.
इसमें तो आप ऊपर उठ रहे हैं. मेरा अभी जो बोला गया है कि हानि और फायदा,
लाभ और हानि, हाँ,
जो भी. तो अभी तो हम फायदे की बात कर रहे हैं सब ना, कि गाड़ी लेनी है, बंगला लेना है, गाड़ी सब कुछ लेना है, ये तो अपनी सोचता है. हम तो ये तो नहीं कह रहे कि मुझे दुख आना है और मुझे तकलीफ आती है, गाड़ी का एक्सीडेंट होना चाहिए,
आप अभी
तब मैं मतलब वो कैसे आएगा? मैं जानना कि लाइफ में वो कैसे आप अच्छी
नहीं, गाड़ी का एक्सीडेंट होना, तो यहाँ पे भी अर्जुन तो यही सोच रहा है ना, किसी को मारना नहीं है मुझे, लेकिन कृष्ण यही बोल रहा है वो तेरे हाथ में नहीं है. गाड़ी आप भले ही कितना अच्छा चलाओ, सामने वाला गलत चलाएगा तो आके ठोक देगा, तो आपको तो गाड़ी का नुकसान होएगा ही ना.
उस वक्त क्या करना चाहिए?
यू करना चाहिए, समत्वम है ही है. आपको क्या कर सकते हो? इंश्योरेंस है, इंश्योरेंस का यूज करना चाहिए. अदरवाइज लक्ष्मी इसकी कंट्रीब्यूट करो और ठीक करो, क्योंकि वापस कृष्णा की सेवा में लगाना है.
तो पुलिस को फोन कर दिया जाएगा.
यही, और इंश्योरेंस का प्रोसेस में पुलिस ही आता है. So this is that. We'll take 49 also, which is also small. Okay, we'll just 1 or 2 people can repeat.
यहाँ पे योग जो है वो भक्ति योग की बात हो रही है, वो रामदेव बाबा वाला योग क्या है?
वो अब आ जाएगा, अभी अगले श्लोक में क्लियर हो जाएगा रामदेव भी. 49, इसलिए मैं 2 लिया था. नो डाउट, बिल्कुल अच्छा है रामदेव का योग. हम लोग वही सोचते हैं योग है, परंतु वो योग नहीं है, वो भी एक आसन है. वो योग का एक आसन है विच विल गिव योर बॉडी, आपके माइंड को वगैरह कंट्रोल करने के लिए. बट देन कितनी देर तक कंट्रोल कर सकते हो, यही पॉइंट होता है कि जितनी देर योगा कर रहे हो उतनी देर तो माइंड ठीक हो गया. उसके बाद में, अब मैं भी करता हूँ आजकल, सूर्य नमस्कार कर रहा हूँ मैं भी, तो जब तक तो ठीक है. उसके बाद में फिर वापस वही पैर वैर दुखना शुरू हो जाते हैं, तो ठीक है.
इसको रिपीट कीजिएगा जो आपने बताया था, लेकिन थोड़ा कनेक्ट.
किसको?
आपने कहा कि जब आप समानता में होते हैं,
परस्यू एंड परसीव थिंग्स,
उसके बाद आपकी कॉन्शियसनेस लेवल इंक्रीज होता है.
यस.
और इसके बाद आप कहना कहा कि कनेक्टेड करते हैं श्री कृष्ण से.
यस, यस
तो जी मैं समझना चाह रहा हूँ कैसे कॉन्शियसनेस इंक्रीज हो रही है इसकी?
क्योंकि नहीं, इसीलिए जब इक्वानिमिटी जब वर्ड यूज किया तो ये जनरली इक्वानिमिटी जो है सो भौतिक लेवल पर यूज होता है। ओके, क्योंकि कृष्ण के इक्वल तो कोई है नहीं, ये तो बात मानते हो। स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पर तो हम कभी भी इक्वालिटी की बात नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि हम सब इक्वली का बात कर सकते हैं। ओके, हम सब दास है पूरे, हम सब कृष्ण के अंश है, हम सब आपस में इक्वल होंगे, लेकिन हम कृष्ण के इक्वल तो कभी हो नहीं सकते। तो स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे तो वहां पे तो अटक गया। भौतिक लेवल पर ही इक्वानिमिटी की बात आती है, जब वहां पे आदान प्रदान किसी से हम कर रहे हैं, कोई छोटा है कोई बड़ा है, तो सबको एक नजर से किस प्रकार देख सकते हैं, भौतिक लेवल पर ही होता है ये। जब हम वो देख पाते हैं, उसी चीज को देखते हुए कॉन्शियसनेस आपका जब ऊपर उठेगा, तब आप रियलाइज करो कि भी भाई इतने बड़े ब्रह्मांड में, जैसे कल प्रभु ने एक एग्जांपल शेयर किया था, तो कि मेरे बॉडी में क्या चल रहा है मुझे तो कुछ पता नहीं है, अपने बॉडी में सिस्टम्स अपने आप काम कर रहे हैं, मैं तो कुछ मदद नहीं कर रहा हूं उसको काम करने के लिए। मेरा काम है सांस लेना, मैं सांस ले रहा हूं, बाकी बॉडी अपने आप देख रही है,
इलेक्ट्रॉन
प्रोटॉन न्यूट्रॉन सारा हो। ओके, और यही सेम चीज गैलेक्सी में भी, सारे प्लैनेट्स अपने अपने दूरी पे चल रहे हैं, उसमें मैं तो कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर रहा हूं, है ना। तो ये जो डिफरेंस है, ये स्पिरिचुअल लेवल और मटेरियल लेवल का आप डिफरेंस समझो। बॉडीली लेवल पे मैं जो हो रहा है उसके अंदर मैं खुद कंट्रीब्यूट कुछ नहीं कर पा रहा हूं, और मैं प्लानिटरी लेवल पर मैं क्या कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाऊंगा, जो मेरी समझ है मैं उससे ही अपने उस लेवल में कुछ पढ़ाई किया है तो उससे उसमें कंट्रीब्यूट कर दूं, तो फिर पता चलेगा कि भी ये दुनिया तो इतनी बड़ी है, इसको डेफिनेटली चलाने वाला क्रिएटर कोई है, और वो नेचुरली कैसा होगा। दैट इज वेर यू कनेक्ट योर कॉन्शियसनेस। तो अगर आप भौतिक लेवल पर ही अगर आप इक्वानिमिटीज पे देख नहीं पाए, भाई ये निचली जात का, ये ऊंची जात का, ये जात में नहीं आते हैं, बट लाइक कोई भी चीज को, कई जैसे राम जी का मैंने एग्जांपल दिया था ना, गिलहरी को भी उन्होंने इक्वल नजर से देखा, और वानरों को भी इक्वल नजर से देखा। गिलहरी को हाथ फेर के उसको आशीर्वाद दिया, वानरों को अपने हाथ से मक्खन खिला के आशीर्वाद दिया। कृष्णा मीन्स लाइक ही नेवर पुट दैट। तो वो नजर के लेवल पे हम जब भौतिक लेवल पे कंपेयर करेंगे, तो देन ओनली वी विल बी एबल टू परस्यू हायर, एंड इन दैट ओनली दिस मैच्योरिटी लेवल कम्स अप। ठीक है,
कनेक्ट यही तो नहीं कनेक्ट कर पा रहा कि भौतिक लेवल पे
हाँ।
मानता का स्पिरिचुअलिटी लेवल पे कैसे कनेक्शन है, जिसको मैं कनेक्ट नहीं कर पा रहा मसला होगा। मतलब भौतिक लेवल पे
बच्चों आप समझ लो ना, बच्चों के एग्जाम्पल ले लो ना, आप बच्चे को खेलते हुए देख रहे हो और आप खेल रहे हो, बच्चों का जो सोच है और आपका सोच है उसमें डिफरेंस है नहीं है, बस यही है। शिफ्ट होता है डेफिनेटली। चलो नेक्स्ट लेते हैं, धूरेण।
What you're saying is right. How you reconcile, right? So very interestingly, I was reading the book. This is about Prabhupada, about the author, and it's written at the back of the same.
Okay.
It's very interesting. I'll just read this.
Yeah, good.
In 1950, Prabhupada retired from married life. So he was almost 54 or something like that time.
Yeah.
So, and then started adopting time for his studies and writing. So I think, and he ended this vanaprastha. So you have these 4 stages, right? So maybe I think we are so sucked up in our, let's say, material duties. I think
exactly
probably a stage in life. If Prabhupada himself has had
rightfully
50 plus.
Yes.
It is perfectly fitting, 25 so I think maybe.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It is exactly right. So it's good that you went till the end, huh? Oh, good, yeah, good, Prabhu. That's a good realization. Actually, that really adds up.
So you think was state of mind, see, you are.
It's exactly. And that is why mind is used in this. आप पढ़ोगे तो कहीं mind का जिक्र नहीं है.
So I think
that is the state of mind.
You have to wait for another 20 years. You are a very young man.
That is not a good practice. You have to start from the.
No,
because
No, what I'm saying, see, we are very fortunate to have this. We are very fortunate to have this class.
So
this is our
no. That is right from 5 years. You have to start gaining it from 5 years. Yeah, that's a different issue.
This is the percentage of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Now see, we are sitting in Saudi. We are having this class. I mean, how fortunate we are. Whether we have done it in India, I don't know. Right? So this is very first. So it's not that it is a binary. I think there's an acceleration.
Yes, exactly.
Let me
By
the point.
by this calculation, you have to wait for next 30 years. You are 12 years, right?
No, you told me next 100 janmas. Forget this. I have no book this janma.
let reconcile this point of what he told. तो मैं समझाऊं कि जब आप अभी जो आपकी लेट से कॉन्शियस आप कहते हैं कि वो इंटेंगल है वर्ल्डली लेवल पे,
Yes.
जब वो इस वर्ल्डली लेवल से फ्री होगी, क्योंकि वो समानता का मतलब इक्विलिब्रियम, तो यानी अच्छा बुरा कुछ नहीं है, तो इक्विलिब्रियम में है, तो इसका मतलब अब वो कॉन्शियसनेस फ्री हो गई, और जब वो फ्री है तो अब उसको कुछ ना कुछ करना है, तो वो फिर वो कनेक्ट हो रही है कृष्णा से. लाइक दैट यू कंसीडर.
अब वो जीवन के पथ में लोगे तो वानप्रस्थ आश्रम, जैसे प्रभुपाद का एग्जाम्पल देते हुए प्रभु ने कहा. बट हमको वानप्रस्थ तक हम लाइफ जिएंगे नहीं जिएंगे पता नहीं, इसीलिए हर चीज पे हमको स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे उठना है. इसीलिए निस्त्रय गुण्यो भव अर्जुना बोला. ठीक है, समय लगता है प्रभु, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. या 5 साल बोल रहा हूँ मैं, तो 5 साल के इसमें हो जाना चाहिए. क्योंकि ध्रुव महाराज और प्रहलाद महाराज को 5 साल के इसमें हो गया था.
वो भी पिछले जन्म की कर्म मेहनत,
हाँ.
अभी देख रहे हैं, पिछले जन्म मेहनत की थी तभी 5 से शुरू किया.
पिछला जन्म अभी आ जाएगा, देखो लो. अब लेते हैं
Next time आ जाएगा.
2.49. 49 ले लेते हैं, बिकॉज इट इज हाफ एन आवर वी कैन कंप्लीट दैट. इट्स स्मॉल ओनली. ध्यूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धि-योगाद धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपाणाः phala-hetavaḥ ध्यूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धि-योगाद धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपाणाः phala-hetavaḥ. कोई एक माता जी है, प्रभु जी बोलिए.
दूरेण हि अवरं कर्म
दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म
बुद्धि-योगाद धनञ्जय
बुद्धि-योगाद धनञ्जय
बुद्धौ शरणम् अन्विच्छ
बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ
कृपाणाः phala-hetavaḥ
कृपाणाः phala-hetavaḥ. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धि-योगाद धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपाणाः phala-hetavaḥ. अनुवाद तात्पर्य भी इसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रपाद की जय. ट्रांसलेशन आप पढ़ लेना, मीन्स लाइक मीनिंग वाइज. हे धनंजय, भक्ति के द्वारा समस्त गर्हित कर्मों से दूर रहो और उसी भाव से भगवान की शरण करो. जो व्यक्ति अपने सकाम कर्म फलों को भोगना चाहते हैं वे कृपण हैं. तात्पर्य पढ़ लीजिए प्रभु, शॉर्ट वे.
One who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord gives up all engagements save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained, buddhi-yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entities. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable since they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of riches which they acquired by good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord.
Hare Krishna, Hare Om Tat Sat. So, very interestingly, some are connected with last shloka. Okay, so that's the reason I said we'll take this book today. Sometimes, contrastingly, you will understand it. So, it says, dhūreṇa. Dhūreṇa means keep it far away. Dur rakho bolte na. Dhūreṇa. Yavaram karma. Yavaram karma is all inauspicious activities, or we call it as abominable activities. विकर्म हमने जो लास्ट टाइम बात की थी, तो dūreṇa, दूर रखो उनको, all those विकर्मों को. Vara means Yavaram bola na. Varam is what? Blessing, right? Boon. We get Varam is used for blessings from the Lord. Okay, we get Vara means we get blessings from elders, and Yavaram means opposite of blessing. So that is where Yavaram karma means those abominable activities. You do good and you get blessings, and you do bad and you get curses. So that is what Yavaram karma. So it is why it is not called as a curse only, because we'll have to understand, because ultimately we do it. Those Yavaram karmas only we do many of the times. So, and Krishna is saying, be far away from Yavaram karma. Okay. Buddhi-yogād dhanañ-jaya. So he is using the word buddhi-yoga, which he used in 2.39, same word, which is used in last shloka also, the same word. Dhanañ-jaya, again the accumulator of word, accumulator of wealth. So be far from the Yavaram karma and work with buddhi-yoga or dhanañ-jaya. Buddhau śaranam anviccha. Śaranam is again means like surrender. Now this theme of surrender is at an advanced stage now. Okay, it is he is not using Krishna is not using this surrender as if surrender to myself. Like in the end he will use that also. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam śaranam vraja. End may he'll tell that is as a master stroke. But right now he is not using that śaranam in that particular sense, and he is talking about buddhau. Buddhau means what? In such consciousness. He's used the word buddhau, means surrender in such consciousness. And that is what consciousness which we are speaking about. Okay, buddhi yoga. Using the buddhi yoga, surrender in such consciousness. Kṛpaṇāḥ, misers. Okay, those who are misers. Phala-hetavaḥ, who seek the fruit of their work. They are called kṛpaṇāḥs. अब आप बोलोगे कमाई इज हमारी फ्रूट ऑफ एक्शन, राइट? हमने कमाई की, है ना, नौकरी गए तो कमाई आई, तो कमाई इज आवर फ्रूट और एक्शन, और हम चाहते हैं कमाई ज्यादा हो. वो ज्यादा कभी हो ही नहीं सकती. कम ही आने वाली हो, ज्यादा कभी नहीं आने वाली. कभी भी करो, चाहे वो 1000 रियाल की सैलरी हो, चाहे 50,000 की रियाल हो, वो कम आई ही रहेगी, ज्यादा आई कभी नहीं होगी. So, कमाई कृपणा फला-hetavaḥ, ये को समझना बहुत जरूरी है. क्योंकि हम लोग सोचते हैं ना, बोलते कमाई नहीं है, कमाई कम ही आएगी भाई, ज्यादा आएगी नहीं, चिंता ही ना करो. So again, what's being said in this verse? To understand, first we have to understand this Yavaram karma. Okay, because we are already in the flow, so we will not go much detail into each word. So we have to understand Yavaram karma. So normally inauspicious activity or bad karma, sinful activity, okay, is considered as bad karma. So that is being referred to as Yavaram karma here. But Krishna in the same verse has spoken about kṛpaṇāḥ phala-hetavaḥ also in the end. Okay. So those who seek the fruit of their work, they are kṛpaṇāḥ. So performing inauspicious activity is Yavaram karma, and expecting result for the fruit of the action, result as the fruit of the action, are called kṛpaṇāḥs, are misers. So what Krishna wants to say is, Arjuna, not to do one thing and to do one thing. He says very clearly that, you should not do this thing. dūreṇa Yavaram karma. Okay. He says, be far away from this abominable activities. Not to do this. And buddhi-yogād dhanañ-jaya, do buddhi-yoga. And kṛpaṇāḥ phala-hetavaḥ, if you're doing that Yavaram karma, you are also kṛpaṇāḥ. You are also kṛpaṇāḥ. So those who work for the fruit, which we call as saṅgaṁ karma, is being referred to as inauspicious activity here. And Krishna is saying, be far away from that activity. एकदम क्वेश्चन आता है ना. It's exactly questioning your this thing. नहीं, ठीक है. नहीं, मैं ये बता रहा हूं कि Yavaram कर्म से दूर रहना है और यही ह्यवरम का और यदि आप जो है सो इसको फल का एक्सपेक्टेशन के साथ में आप ये कार्य करते हो तो ये भी ह्यवरम कर्म आता है। हाँ वही माइजर से कृपणा फल हेतवा, क्योंकि स्टार्ट हुआ दूरेण यवरम कर्म बुद्धि-योगा धनंजय कृपणा क्या बुद्धौ शरणं कृपणा फल हेतवा। आपको उस कॉन्शियसनेस से आप नहीं काम करोगे तो आप कृपण कहलाओगे। तो आता वही है कि आपको ये यवरम कर्म को सकाम कर्म से जोड़कर कृष्ण कह रहे। सो ही इज नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट सिंफुल एक्टिविटीज डायरेक्टली हियर, रादर इज कंपेयरिंग द लेवल्स of karma kanda, which we call it as sakam karma, because we already understood these words, right? What is sakam karma, karma kanda, and also so he is comparing the level of karma kanda with that of the karma yoga, which is nishkam karma. So working for fruits is at karma kanda level is undesirable here, yavaram karma. If that's done by kṛpaṇāḥ, you don't do that, Arjuna. That kind of work is being done by kṛpaṇāḥ, you don't do that. Sakam karma एक तुच्छ कर्म है, ऐसा लिखा गया, the pettiest of the work anybody has to do. तुच्छ work है. So don't do that. Krishna is very clearly saying. Instead of Krishna is saying, do karma yoga. Use your intelligence and act at spiritual level. Buddhau śaranam anviccha. At that conscious level, at that consciousness you act, is saying. buddhi-yogād dhanañ-jaya. Use your intelligence to act in yoga. So at preliminary level, buddhi means at preliminary level, when buddhi means acting in buddhi is acting at just at spiritual level. Krishna means to say that Arjuna, understand your buddhi is at a higher level than your mind, but lower to the soul. He'll say that later on, one shlok will come, which will give the sequencing. So act at your soul level rather than your mind level. So in that way, use your buddhi. Okay. So don't act at your bodily level, act at spirit level, which is the soul level. And at advanced level, buddhi yoga will refer to an understanding that I am part and parcel of Krishna 15.7, which he quoted 2 verses before also. Right? 15.7, that I am part and parcel of Krishna. We are, Krishna is Paramatma and we are Atmas, part and parcel of the Paramatmas. So we are part and parcel of Krishna and I should be loving and serving him. Which itself we said is, practicing bhakti yoga essentially. So keeping away yavaram karma, practice yoga, which is bhakti yoga. Example, right now we took during Krishna Janmashtami, we took a story of Sudama. The moment riches came to Sudama, what did he do? नहीं वो नहीं, जब घर पे आए और सारा भवन देखा, समझ गए, तो फिर क्या किया उन्होंने? उसी समय एक डायलॉग दिया था. क्या दिया था उन्होंने? कि इमीडिएटली क्या किया था उन्होंने? सुदामा ने नहीं
वो जो पोटली में कुछ
नहीं, वो तो कृष्णा क्या है, कृष्णा से आने के बाद में जब देखा कृष्णा ने इतना भवन दे दिया, ये दे दिया, उन्होंने क्या किया? वाइफ, एकदम वाइफ को पहचाना नहीं उन्होंने. फिर क्या किया था उन्होंने? तो उन्होंने समझ गया था कि ये कृष्ण का है और तो कोई ये दे नहीं सकता, कृष्ण का है. उन्होंने क्या कहा था? You all have okay. So he immediately relinquished. Krishna, you have given me this. I don't want to get attached to it. So I am giving everything back to you. Renounced immediately. People will say, and we discussed also, he was a beggar. He was into that stage of all that, more of a thread was visible than the cloth itself. He was into that torn clothes, And the moment he got all this, still he is relinquishing. He says, I will get into this material activity, Krishna. I offer all this to you. Oh, I agree. My wife had sent to me to get such kind of help only, but I never said you. You have understood and give it to me. So take care of this, Krishna. I don't want this. Okay, since you have given, I'll enjoy it. But then I do not want to be entangled in it. So he immediately relinquished. So that is where that bhakti yoga comes in part. So at advanced level, buddhi yoga refers to that kind of understanding. So no one, so now one, you can say, like, as you, one question can arise, why karma kanda is called avaraṁ karma? So we understood this shloka in short. Now why karma kanda is called avaraṁ karma? Can anyone tell from your own language, knowledge?
Because we do it because of some expectation.
Yeah. So why it is called avaraṁ karma? Means avaraṁ karma का क्या मतलब है कि abominable activity, जैसे कोई पाप कर रहे हो वैसा. Very nice. Very nice. It keeps us entangled repeatedly in birth and death of this material world. That is what karma kanda we understood, right? We go to Swarga, enjoy Swarga, Nandana Karnar garden, forgot to come back again go back to Swarga, Narka, chalu rakhenge wo. So it keeps us entangled in the birth and death cycle. Exactly, that is what. So it keeps us in that birth and death cycle. So we say we are acting as per Vedic principle, enjoying material things. Okay? So you enjoy material things, but understand the result is bondage. The same material world. इसलिए मैंने बोला था हम जो उस नीचे वाले जो गोल चक्र उसमें है, उसके अंदर हम बीच में है और वो उसका तीसरा लेवल स्वर्ग लोक है. और ये पूरा भौतिक जगत है. ये जो ब्रह्मांड है पूरा भौतिक जगत है. नीचे काला वाला सर्कल, नए लोग हैं उनको बता रहा हूं, बाकी आप लोग सब जानते हो. और उसके ऊपर जो चमकीला पोर्शन है वो स्पिरिचुअल जगत है, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि क्या बोलते हैं, हरि का धाम, हरिधाम, जिसमें सबसे ऊपर गोलोक वृंदावन है. सो वी आर इनटू दैट स्मॉल एंड दैट मिडिल वी आर इनटू. भूलोक इज द मिडिल प्लेन एंड 7 पाताल बिलोस एंड 6 स्वर्गस अबव. सो वी आर ऑलवेज इनटू दैट ओनली. So doing piety, we go to Swarga for enjoyment. Okay. Going forward, Krishna will say, as you ascend, like in the 9th chapter it will come, as you go ahead and ahead, tetam bhūtvā swarga lokam vishalam, in the 9th chapter he'll say, आप जैसे जैसे ऊपर जाओगे विशाल विशाल, like for example that एक juice which Mataji had made, I don't know whether it is sweet or what, you came from outside some sun, you had that juice, you felt some satisfaction. धूप से आए हैं तो थोड़ा हमको एनर्जी चाहिए. So energy मिली. That same energy, that same satisfaction feeling when you go to above, ascend. You go to from Bhuvarlok to Bhulok, Bhulok to Swarglok, Swarglok to Maharlok, Maharlok to Janlok. Every time that satisfaction increases 100 times. That one satisfaction, if you give that numbering as 1, that same at Bhuvarlok will be 100. And from Bhuvarlok, that satisfaction will become 100 into 100. And it goes on up to Satyalok. Swarga lokam vishalam. So itna satisfaction milta hai. But you have to understand, whatever satisfaction that is there, that is, he'll say, kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. Once that satisfaction is done, you enjoy that satisfaction. आपने पुण्य कमाया, 100 साल स्वर्ग में रहे, 100 बोल तो 100 into 365. 365,000 years you stayed in Swarga. After that you have to again come back here. You have to come back here. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. 8.16. That also says the same thing. That you have to come back here. So you have to understand that whatever you say, that is not permanent. You are again going back to come back into this birth and take birth and death again and again. So it will keep repeatedly binding. So that is why the sutra here you have to understand is, and often the good can be enemy of the best, and it can be the worst enemy of the best. Okay, we did good karma, हमने वेद बिठाए, हमने वेदों के हिसाब से आज हवन यज्ञ किया, हमको पुत्र नहीं है, पुत्र कामेष्टि यज्ञ किया, हम बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं. हमारी स्वास्थ्य ठीक नहीं है, हमने यज्ञ किया, all those we can say we have followed. But you have done that piety, and with that piety you get reaction. What is that? Go and enjoy in Swarga. So Swarga mein somebody dies, we write it, Swargavasi so and so. Whether he is in Swarga or Narka, we don't know, but we write it, thinking that the person is already Swargavasi. So कि स्वर्ग ही गए होंगे. So
इंडिया में तो सब स्वर्गवासी हैं.
एक्चुअली वो क्यों है प्रभु, वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये भरत खंड जो है ये सबसे पुण्य जगह है. बट अब लोग भरतखंडी नहीं रह गए, प्रॉब्लम वो हो गए, मलेची ज्यादा हो गए. तो so Sutri, so at karma kanda level, what is good may not be good. That piety will throw us back into this material world. So two things in karma kanda, that is when we do piety and we gradually progress in spiritual cycle. Okay, we can go to Swarga, from there we can proceed further, it will take long time. But we may reach up to Satyaloka also. And then we think of, going to the Brahma Jyoti and all those. We can think about it, okay. But that will take its long time, because as I said we stay here 80 years Swarga, and imagine how many years. So you, and going forward, 311 trillion years is Brahma's age. So we'll also stay that many years in Brahma Loka. And then going back to, so it will take its own time. And 7.19 Krishna says also, Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanvam Nam Prabhadyate. So it will take a lot of time, but Krishna clearly is saying to us, Arjuna, that why are you have to go into that laborious process? Why can't you go into the faster process? And what is that faster process? Buddhi-yogād. Work in Krishna consciousness. So you have to come to this 4th floor. You can come by walk. Of course, if you have done a lot of papa, then we have to come by walk. Light may go, anything can happen. But if lift is there, it is but natural that you have to reach faster. You take the lift and go. Unless you have some problem, then you have to come by walk, like I go nowadays. So so why do you have to take into this temporary loka? Why not go for that spiritual loka? Why not go for the spiritual loka? Because when you do work in Krishna consciousness, when you do a karma, वर्किंग फॉर कृष्णा, मैंने खाना बनाया भगवान के लिए, भगवान ने खा लिया, उसमें से कर्म हट गया, मैं प्रसाद खा रहा हूं. आई एम नॉट इन टू बाइंडिंग. कृष्णा सेज आई एम नॉट बाइंडेड. So that becomes, so we go to, if you are in that consciousness, that's why it was used, that consciousness, not as surrender, into that consciousness, then you go to eternal loka. Yanti devrata devan, already he says going forward. यांति मध्याजिनोपिमान, जिनको देवी देवताओं के लोग जाना, वो देवी देवता के लोग जाएंगे. जो देवी देवताओं का लोग सारा इसी काले वाले में ही है. देवी धाम भी वही है ना, और सब कुछ वही है. ऊपर सिर्फ हरि धाम है. आपको जो भी चंद्रलोक है वो भी वहीं पर है, काले के अंदर. सूर्य लोक जाना है, सूर्य लोक भी वहीं पर, सब कुछ वहीं पर उसी काले में ही है. सो एग्जाम्पल लेके समझाता हूं मैं इसको, और फिर देन वील एंड अप. For example, a person is a beggar. In a kṛpaṇāḥ also we have to understand. No? So a person who is a beggar, for him getting one chapati is what? It's a great treasure, right? Getting one chapati is a great treasure for him. Okay. But suppose that beggar is a lost child of a rich billionaire. Okay. Due to some reason he got lost. Okay. And he is living the life of a beggar. If he is a billionaire, so what will be his eternal happiness? Go and connect back to his billionaire father, right? That will be his major happiness. So from eternal perspective, yoga, which takes us back to our eternal life, is like reuniting the beggar with his lost father. So because he can have Chappan Bhoga there along with Krishna. He can have Chappan Bhoga there. Whereas here he was thinking, getting one roti as a beggar, for him it was a big feast. He used to, beggar ka we can understand, whatever gets he eats. And if he gets one plate of roti and with sabji and everything, it will be a happiness for him, treasure for him. So, and now, even if we have said him that here is your billionaire father, and he doesn't want to utilize that opportunity to go back to him, and still wants to live as his beggar's life, and that is where this kṛpaṇāḥ comes in. That is where, knowing your original position also, you still want to rot. Instead of eating Chappan Bhoga, you are happy with one roti. Okay, that level of satisfaction, that will be different. But then, he is still attached to that enjoying life, that, I am free, I can beg and I can do or whatever. He is still attached to that kind of life. So that's what Krishna is saying, that, you don't get caught in this karma kanda. First he explained karma kanda, and then he said, don't get caught in this karma kanda level. Practice karma yoga. Instead of material level, you come to the spiritual level and act. That is the shift in corner. Kṛpaṇāḥ phala-hetavaḥ, that is where it comes in. Kṛpaṇāḥ, we discuss. So kṛpaṇāḥ is this beggar kind of concept. Okay, means one who doesn't spend is a kṛpaṇāḥ. Like having money and not spending is miser. Usko hi kṛpaṇāḥ bolte hain. Phala-hetavaḥ also we have to do. Phala is what? Phala means what? Fruit of work, right? Monthly working salary is fruit of work. No doubt about it. So phala is generally used for the material level of activities. So as long as we desire the result of that material level work, we get caught into material reality. We get caught into material level of reality and we stay entangled. When we come out of this material existence, when we desire something more than material, which is spiritual, and that is what every time we have been telling, come to the spiritual level, and we may act at the material realm because that is what is the functioning, but as our contribution, as I said in the last shloka. That is what is the functioning. We cannot leave away this body and do whatever we want, right? We have to act according to the bodily requirement, but as a contribution, not as a expectation of fruit. Our hetu should not be the phala. Hetu should be dharma, seva, or duty, or contribution, or the highest word, purification. Purification. Our hetu should not be for the sake of phala. It should be for dharma. Okay, at least we do dharmic activity. It should be as a seva, contribution. Okay, seva or contribution is one and the same. Okay, English and Hindi ka baat ho gaya. Purification. Ultimately, it is purification. Okay, I have. So, like when we bring our car, it is for, okay, mostly we are using it. But the moment we bring, why do we have that process of going into the temple, have one nariyal, and, give the keys to the pantulu once, okay, do arati. Why do we have to do that? Baba, it is nothing that is where that consciousness comes in. Everything belongs to the Supreme, that is Krishna, we call it as, and we go and first offer it to him. Ki bhi dete hain. Bhagwan ke charanon mein rakh ke wapas lete hain. We have to enjoy, okay, because once it is given to him, it becomes his. And we enjoy it as a prasada. We carry as a messenger from there, from the showroom till the temple. Temple, after that process is done, we come back home and we only enjoy, because after the Lord has eaten, we all will only eat. So after the Lord has accepted your key, that means it is Lord's car. So if you are using it for Lord Kirtan purpose, if you are going somewhere, you can use it. Family, you are taking family here and there, you are going to office to feed your family, all those fine. So that is all Krishna's work. So that it becomes a contribution, hetu and all those. So Krishna says just acting for the fruits are kṛpaṇāḥ, misers. And why misers? Because misers have wealth, but they are not attached. Srila Prabhupada has written, they are so attached that, that attachment blinds them that, this has to be used somewhere they don't know. Like example, there was an example in India right now, one judge's house caught fire. And there are bundles and bundles of notes burnt as it is packed. They don't know. You'll find many things in bathrooms, lockers, wherever people hide. That was the big news, right? We don't have to name it. So, they are misers. Kṛpaṇāḥ. Do not know what is the use of that money. Money is there. It is chala. It has to be invested at the right place. Okay, you want to invest in FD, you want to invest in shares, that is your choice, but do it in consciousness to Krishna. The result anyway you're not. You put in shares, no. FD, okay, some result is there, okay, but that also they will change one day, and once it is matured, then you have to again change. You will not get back the range. So that's not beyond this thing, okay. So just as the wealth can gain, so just as wealth can gain, means punyas. You can use where that wealth can be used to gain punyas or to gain spiritual this thing. People do not know also, and they just misuse that in phala-hetavaḥ. or in the sections of avaraṁ karma, all those things. So that's why he says, and that's why he compares contrastingly, again calling Arjuna as dhanañ-jaya. That you are having such a big treasure and you are behaving like a beggar, saying that, I'll not fight. You have so many Gandiva, you went everywhere, you accumulated so many of divyastras, and today you want to say you don't want to use that. At least use that divyastras in the service of me and fight. Do your contribution. Youth is anyway decided by me because there was no other option left. And everybody has accumulated here, including you, to fight. You did not want to fight, but since you gave your right to me, transferred your right to me by declaring me as the guru and you becoming disciple, I have already declared that yuddhaya yujjasva. Just get up and fight for the sake of fighting. Now he is explaining more that, at least use your astra shastras, which you have gained. 1 year he accumulated, right? All the 13 years they were accumulating. Arjuna was accumulating. Pashupatastra, he accumulated so many things. He went to Indra for Divyastras, Swarga Yatra, and he got that curse by our Urvashi. So many things. We heard all those stories slowly. So why don't you use all those paraphernalia in the service of me now by fighting? So in this way, he says, so keep such acts, dūreṇa, off. Don't expect phala from such acts. Rather, act with knowledge, that is buddhi-yogād. Know that you are the soul and know that by acting in the mood of contribution according to your bodily nature, you will realize your spiritual nature. Acting with detachment, acting with devotion, you will realize eternal results. And that is what you should aim for. And don't worry about your material pursuits. Who is going to die, who is not going to die, don't worry about. By this, he is giving this kind of message. Any other doubts? So small, so I took it. Hare Krishna. और किसी को कोई ऐड करना है तो प्रभु आप दोनों आज आप भी हो कुछ ऐड करना है आप लोगों ने भक्ति शास्त्री में और भी कुछ सीखा है तो
मुझे अभिषेक प्रभु से एक सवाल पूछना है।
हरे कृष्णा।
मुझे नहीं आता सर।
ये सब इतना जो सब चल रहा है, सबके पीछे वाइफ क्यों रहती हैं? सुदामा जी के साथ
हरि बोल। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। सो या तो किसी को कुछ समझ में आया नहीं तो फिर कोई प्रश्न नहीं है और या तो